Hey everybody, welcome to another video, and today we're going to be talking about O.T.F. And what does O.T.F stand for? Out the front. Okay, that's what O.T.F stands for. Out the front. And they say out the front because if a knife blade comes out the front, that's what the knife is called. It's not called a slip joint. It's not called a folder. It's not called a modern day folder or slip joint. It's not called a switchblade. It's called out the front. Okay, switchblade. Well, some people call this a switchblade, but most of the time switchblades are automatics that where the blade comes out like a traditional knife, except for it comes out automatically because you press a button. All right, this is not an axis lock. This is not a liner lock. This is not a frame lock. This is out the front. Okay, and it has a locking mechanism of its own. Once it's deployed, the blade is deployed, it has an internal locking mechanism that keeps the blade from going in unless you pull the lever or push the button again. All right, so there are many different internal designs depending on what company you go with. There are inexpensive budget ones, there are expensive ones. Majority of the expensive ones are more durable, tougher, can take on a little bit more punishment, and generally are of better quality and reliability. And also, not to mention that they use higher quality blades, steel. Now, you can buy a very inexpensive out the front, which can cost anywhere from $30 to $60. And from what I understand, those are pretty decent. They're good for everyday carry, for as in trying to use the blade for cutting or slicing tasks. But these more expensive ones, like this Microtech UTX, is $275. But it's built a little tougher, more reliable. The blade is M390. M390. And in my opinion, it has a pretty decent sharpness to it. And what can I say? It's just a better quality knife. Sorry about that. I had to turn something down. Anyway, well, why am I talking about UTF today? Well, like I said, compared to slip joints, modern folders, traditional folders that employ frame locks, liner locks, axis locks, there's maybe a few other type of locks. There's a debate about which one is tougher, which one is more reliable. People will say that generally the frame locks are tougher and less prone to failure. Then you have the liner locks, which are next, and then the axis locks. Some people argue that might be the best, but also it's kind of like it really depends. If the omega springs fail, then you have a knife that's not going to lock and be a danger. But either way, a folding knife, however it's deployed or however it's locked, is never as safe as out the front. Why? Why do I say that? Well, because if this knife fails in any way, it's not going to fold in on your fingers. Okay, if it fails, if anything, the blade is just going to go back inside the handle. Okay, all knives, all blades are prone to breaking or snapping if you put too much punishment or too much abuse to it, of course. But far as in the blade failing, where it's gonna go back into the handle. Folding knives, no matter how it's deployed or locked, if those fail, there is more likelihood that you're going to cut yourself or damage your hand, because the blade will fold in on your fingers. Okay, but out the front knives, like I said, now the cheaper ones may fail. If they fail, they may just go back into the handle, and then you're done. I mean, it's not going to hurt your hand if it does that. The more expensive ones are not going to. They're less prone to failure. Okay, they can take a lot more punishment. So if you're trying to puncture something, or stab into something that's very hard or very tough, and for some reason the knife fails, it'll just basically go back in, or just you'll have a situation where, let me do this here real quick. You have a situation where the blade will go limp like this. Okay, it'll go limp like that, and that's it. No danger of it closing in on your fingers. Okay, so all you gotta do is just snap it back out, and it locks, and then you're back in action. Okay, so in my opinion, the ideal and best, if you're gonna rely on something, if you need something extremely reliable, okay, that's not gonna fail and hurt you, the best way to go is O.T.F. Knife like this is a perfect EDC if you don't want to have to deal with the risk of a knife failing and hurting you. Okay, that's just my opinion. Also, for tactical, if you're looking for any kind of knife that is tactical, in my opinion, out the front are perfect, because like I said, if they fail, they're not going to hurt you. The folding knives, if they fail, like I said, they can close in on your fingers. So, and also the fact that it's just such an easy deployment. There's no skill involved. There's no spidey flick that you have to practice in order to get the blade out quick. There's no jerking of the wrists to assist the knife to or the blade to come out. There's no practice involved for you to utilize a blade like this, because all you're tasked to do is just make sure you got that firm press of the button to get the blade out. So in a panic situation, no matter how much you practice the spidey flick or the wrist flick or the thumb flick or the thumb stud flick, there's so many ways to deploy a knife. There's a spidey hole that you could do the spidey flick with. That there's thumb studs, so you can deploy the blade with one hand with the thumb stud. And then there's the thumb stud flick, where you flick on the thumb stud and the blade will flick out, depending on how loose the blade is on the word escapes me. Anyway, on the hinge or the bolster, and it takes absolutely no practice for you to deploy a out the front blade. Just like I said, a firm press of the button and you're boom in action. But if you're carrying a knife for just utilitarian purposes and you're not worried about your dexterity being involved to utilize the knife, and you're taking your time every time you deploy the knife, the release mechanism is not important. But if you're concerned about safety, in my opinion, there's nothing more safe than a out the front knife, because, like I said, as you're using this, let's say you're cutting down on something, or you're slicing something, or you're stabbing into some heavy canvas or material, and for some reason the liner lock or the frame lock or the axis lock snaps or breaks or gives way or slips, the blade folds. The blade will fold in on itself into the handle. Then you got your fingers are gonna get cut. But with the out the front, absolutely no risk of that happening, unless of course your hand slips into the blade area as you're stabbing into whatever material you're stabbing into. So many people think that this knife is basically only for tactical reasons. No, in my opinion, this knife is as utilitarian and useful as any other kind of knife. This knife is perfect for any kind of occasion. You can use this for food processing. You can use this for rope cutting, cordage cutting, slicing, dicing, poking holes, drilling holes. You can use this for whatever whatever you use a knife for. You could use this as a hunting knife. You can use this actually to cut and gut game. Okay, so yeah, you might want to wipe off the blade real good and clean it before you stick it back in. But like I said, this knife is perfect for any occasion, in my opinion. Okay, perfect for any occasion. And this is not a review, by the way, of this Microtech UTX. I'll be honest with you, I have not used this enough. I've had this for almost a month now, carrying it at work, okay? But I have not used it enough in order to actually give you a review of it. I'm just giving you my thoughts on out the front knives, out the front knives in general, okay? And if you're ever thinking about getting one, I highly recommend one, because to be honest with you, it's very easy to carry. Some are bigger than others. This is, in my opinion, the UTX is the perfect size for everyday carry. It just fits into your pockets very easily, or into your EDC pouch very easily. And you can attach lanyards to it in order for you to pull it out of your pocket or your pouch. It deploys very easily and fast, and the blade is good quality, very sharp, and you can use it for anything. Like I said, anything you use a knife for, you can use this for. Even I would venture to say this is sharp enough to even use as a crafting knife. You know, I got the non-dagger blade because I wanted to be able to go up on the blade and press down like this. And you know, the double-edged dagger blades are not like, you know, you can't use that like that, because you put your finger on top of the blade, you're gonna cut yourself, right? So I went for the tanto shape with a spine like this, and I'm almost pretty sure you can strike a ferro rod with this spine easily. Okay, so it makes a all-round, all-purpose, even I would say a survival knife if you had to use it as such. Also, be mindful that because there is no bending of there's no hinges here at the where the traditional folders are, or the folders are, and the blade comes straight out. There's no way for, like I said, the blade to fail. So in actuality, you could hold the knife like this, and you could baton the blade without worrying about breaking the ball bearing or the hinge. Why am I forgetting that word? The area right here where the blade rotates on. Sorry about that, folks. I'm having a brain fart. I can't remember the name of that part of the knife. Sorry. Anyway, yeah. So, like I said, this is not a review of the UTX Microtech. This is just a general talk about out the front blade knives, and if you're ever thinking about getting one, I highly recommend it because it's really not a gimmick. It is, in my opinion, a very good design. It's made well enough where even if it has a higher failure rate than regular traditional folding knives, it won't hurt you if it fails. Whereas to the folding knives, if they fail, they have a huge chance of hurting you. Now there is a problem maybe with where you live. It's not legal for you to carry. I'm sorry to hear that. But if your state allows you to carry it, if your country allows you to carry it, I definitely would get one. But like I said, if it's against the law for you to have it where you live, it may not be a wise decision to get one. But that's about it. If you have any questions about this knife in particular, let me know. If you have any questions about what its abilities are, let me know, and I'll see if I can try to find out for you, because I do have it in my possession to find out. And like I said, I will be doing a full review of this knife as soon as I get some use out of it. Just because I carry it around doesn't mean I've been using it. I haven't had the need to use it. I think I've used it a few times to open some snack bags. I've used it to cut some paper, just to test it. I've cut a couple of cordages, some paracords with it, and that's about it for now. But if I get some heavy uses out of it, like if I'm working and I have to cut some cardboard or something like that, after about a month or so, I'll probably do a real thorough review of this knife. Anyway, thanks for watching. Any questions? Any comments? Put them down below, and please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye.